Update. It's been almost a month since D-Day. A lot has happened since then, and it still seems surreal in many ways. In one way, it feels like D-Day was 1,000 years ago, like the days have felt like weeks, and the weeks have felt like months. But then, on the other hand, D-Day seems like it happened only yesterday. The daily Hell of Mine movies have been persisting. The mornings didn't used to be so bad because I had a few moments before I realized my WW wasn't with me, and then reality comes crashing down on me. But I had a Mind movie yesterday morning. I've talked with my therapist about them, but it hasn't made the movies any less persistent or painful. These Mind movies are like you're forced to watch a movie you don't want to see. You can't pause it, turn it off, or walk away from it. It's just on and you have no choice in the matter. I go back to work this Monday. Honestly, I'm kind of worried about reporting back. Even though I work remote, it still requires the same focus, and I worry how the Mind movies could affect me. It's a fear of mine, the possibility of one coming on during work. I don't really know what to expect. Saturdays have been some of the worst nights. Before D-Day, Saturday nights were at-home movie nights for me and my WW. We've always been big film buffs. That's what started that tradition. As Saturdays come and go since D-Day, it's just an aching reminder. Apparently, some music and dancing are a trigger for me now. I tried cooking the other day to keep my mind occupied. Cooking is a joy of mine. Well, music came on from the TV, and it triggered me. My WW and I used to cook dinner together, and we'd usually have music playing. We'd slow dance to a song at times. I don't know what happened, but suddenly all I could think of was my WW sharing a dance with AP in that hotel room. It all caught me off guard. It's like it's a tarnished memory, almost, and it hurts. I think IC has been going well so far. More so than it did for the year I went when I was a teen. Back then, I bounced around between a couple of therapists, but I think I found a right fit for me at the start this time around. Sometimes he speaks less and just listens. Other times he's asking more questions. Something he has told me is that healing is not going to be linear. We've talked some about the affair and my relationship with my WW. He said that the affair wasn't my fault, nor did I have any control over it. I was in the dark and it was out of my hands. But what I do have control over is deciding where do I go from here. Admittedly, I gave some pushback on that because I don't feel in control of myself emotionally. I feel lost in the wind. But he told me that despite what's going on around me, the next step in how I proceed from here is my sole decision. He described her as a gift only I could make and offer. My WW has been going to IC herself now. She's never been to therapy before, so after her first session, I was curious about how it went. I texted her about it, and she said it was new to her, but reiterated that she's committed to the process. I know my WW has started reading How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair. I've been reading some of the book as well, and honestly, it has made me feel validated and covers a range of emotions that I've been grappling with. My Estelle updated me on my WW. She's been eating more regularly again, but it's still a struggle. This NC to light contact for space thing, while still having a desire to talk with her and wanting to see how she's doing, has been one of the most difficult experiences I've ever dealt with. Something I've been weighing is whether or not me and my WW should tell others about the affair. I've had a lot of mixed emotions about it. I've been weighing the pros and cons, but I've been leaning away from it. We only have a small circle around us, and I don't really see the value of anyone else knowing outside of my mom and SIL. Those are the people involved with us the most. My dad has no involvement, nor has he ever shown support. He'll just most likely give a speech on glass houses and all that mess. Maya Mile also isn't much involved with us, although she's been more of a presence than my dad. The relationship between my WW and my mom has been weighing on me too. Prior to D-Day, they always had this firm mother-slash-daughter relationship. My WW calls my mother mom. She hasn't even called her own bio mom that in a very long time. My mom has been devastated about the affair. She's dealing with a betrayal of her own with my WW, from what my dad did to our family, and now she sees it happening to me. She still hasn't outright said anything against my WW, but I know she's hurting too, and I know that the relationship she and my WW shared has taken a severe blow. I don't know if that bond can recover, or at least be somewhere near that same level of closeness. I know my WW feels and knows that too, and that loss deeply hurts her. They haven't had any contact since D-Day. Maybe it's not my place to worry about it right now, but I do. I can't help it, and it's a part of the anger I feel. Me and others having to deal with the pieces of something we never chose. Even with OBS and her twins. And I will know all the pain those kids are already going through and will experience. It's like watching history repeat itself in a way. Pain. That's all that's going around. I believe my WW's in pain, too. And I just keep thinking if only she would have considered that before the affair, maybe things would be different right now. Update. AP tried contacting my WW again. Last Saturday night was particularly difficult. I was scrolling through the TV guide and Singing in the Rain was on. Just the title took me to a place. It's one of me and my WW's favorite movies. She used to quietly sing along with it whenever we watched. She would claim to anyone that she can't sing, but she has a beautiful voice. It was a lot, and before I knew it, I started crying. Out of nowhere, my mom's dog came up to me and rested its head against me. He sensed my distress and was there to provide some comfort. Dogs are a true gift and are always there when you need them. It's been hitting me about how much I miss the little things such as hearing my WW sing. I used to joke with her that I'd be the first one online buying tickets to her concert. On Tuesday night, as I was going over this work project, I received an unexpected FaceTime call from my WW. When I answered, she looked agitated. I asked her what had happened, and she told me that AP had emailed her. I questioned her on it because I was under the impression that AP was blocked. She said that it hadn't crossed her mind to block his email, too, and that she was about to block his email. But she first wanted to send a rejection response back to him and thought it'd be best if I'd review it. She said that she knows the work of confronting AP and shutting any door he tries to open falls on her, but she just wanted to be transparent with me and to shut AP down with my full knowledge and approval. She apologized for bringing me into it and said that she has no right to ask for my support, but I cut her off right there and told her that I appreciated what she was doing. I think her immediately coming forward to me about the email did mean something to me, because with me being gone from our home, she could have easily kept me in the dark about it or replied without me knowing. That, and being given a say in her reply to AP. I feel like I never factored in during the affair, like I wasn't even a blip on the radar. Sometimes I think, well, hell, did I ever cross your mind while this was going on? Did you ever second guess because of me? My WW showed me the email from her tablet. What I read made my blood boil. Between the time AP sent the email and the time it took her to call me, only a minute had passed. She said that she was disgusted by the email and that she sees through his behavior in a way she hadn't before. I don't know where to begin with AP's email. I only ever grow more disgusted with AP. In the email, he just went on and on about my WW blocking his number, and if I had made her do that. He tried to fish what was the status of our relationship since D-Day, and of course trashing OBS some more, complaining about how she kicked him out, and that she's being a see you next Tuesday about the divorce. He should the actual word, but I won't because it's a word I choose not to use. He wrote that my WW should know by now that he has her back, saying he would like to see her, and that she should come over to his room at the extended stay. My WW wrote back an unforgiving reply. She said that she chose on her own accord to block him, and as she told him on D-Day, she didn't want to continue things. She said as far as his divorce goes, he deserves whatever he gets the same way, she'll deserve the same thing. That anything they're experiencing is nothing compared to what their respective spouses and families are dealing with. She said she hated who she was with him, and that she wants him to leave her alone and not contact her anymore. After she finished and reread her reply to me, I gave my approval. She sent it and then blocked his email address. We talked for a little bit afterward. Nothing really about AP, but about how each other were doing. She said that I shouldn't be concerned about her, but I told her that I was. She said that she'll never forgive herself for bringing this on us, and that we were each other's safe haven, and she made a mess of everything. That she knows words aren't enough, and that the trust has been broken, but she means everything she has said, and she hopes that it'll show through her actions. She says that she hates that she had a part in uprooting so many lives, and she just genuinely hates herself. I stopped her from continuing because despite the immense hurt and betrayal I feel, hearing her say that ripped me apart inside. My WW has a little garden at home. Gardening was something she picked up during lockdown. I asked her how the plants were doing, and she said that she was struggling to find comfort in it like she usually did, but they were doing well. She showed me the newest plant that has certainly grown since I left on D-Day. Before we ended the call, she asked if we could talk again, but I told her that I wasn't sure. At the time, I couldn't promise it. But I couldn't stop thinking that maybe a meetup in a natural public space wouldn't be the worst idea. There's a local park near us that has this lake. It's pretty quiet and relaxing place. We used to go there sometimes. Later that night, I texted her about meeting up at the park. She responded, yes, no more than 10 seconds later. From there, we agreed to meet up at the park the following day at 6 p.m. To say that I was nervous after solidifying the plans would be putting it mildly. I didn't know what to expect anymore, whereas before D-Day, I was so certain regarding her and I. I originally included us meeting up yesterday, but I kept running into errors with including it in this post. I had to end up separating them. So I'm going to make a follow-up post detailing our meetup very soon. I was also wondering if I should provide the AP's email to OBS. I wasn't sure if it was the right idea or something unnecessary that will lead to more hurt for her. I appreciate any advice that can be offered. Update. Hi everyone. Here's my follow-up post for the meetup with my WW. Leading up to leaving for the park, I felt like my emotions were thrown into a tornado. I didn't know what to expect. I was overthinking and second-guessing everything. I thought it'd be best if I arranged some safe topics for me and my WW to discuss. I also prepared to cut the day short if needed. My WW beat me to the park. She was already waiting in the parking lot when I drove up. I just took a deep breath before I even got out of my car. I prepared to cut the meetup short if it proved to be too much. We actually got out of our cars at the same time, and she came to meet me. I could immediately tell that she was anxious, too. We kind of awkwardly greeted each other. I did get the sense she was self-conscious about her appearance. I complimented her. It slipped out without a second thought. She looked beautiful. I feel like that's a contradiction due to the betrayal and immense hurt I feel daily from her. I think she was caught off guard by my compliment. She had this shocked look on her face, and she thanked me. I suggested that we go for a walk around the lake, and she was up for it. On our way to the pathway, there was this shaved ice vendor at the park, and I asked if she would like anything. I thought it was a good idea to help keep cool with the heat our area has been hit with. We looked at the menu, and we both selected the same flavor at the same time, right arrow strawberry. The vendor had a little chuckle at that. It reminded me of how attuned my wife and I were prior to D-Day. My WW went to pay, but I stopped her. She said that I didn't have to, but I told her that it was my treat, and besides I was the one who invited her out. After getting our shaved ice, we walked out to the path circling the lake. At first our walk was just silent, kind of an awkward silence. It was a peaceful atmosphere around the lake, and not a lot of people out. Only about a handful of people spread out, mostly families. I think she didn't want to push me to talk. It also felt like a lot of stuff was being said in the silence, and we were both not sure where to start. Like could we just be us again for this moment, and not address the fair elephant in the room? Despite me gathering safe topics, my mind went blank. Anything pre-planned went out the window. I walked with my shaved ice, thinking, what are we even supposed to talk about? But I broke the silence and asked how her day had been, and that stated our convo that lasted for our entire walk. We talked about how each of our day had been so far, the nature around us, the ducks walking around, and the ones floating on the lake, this guy that biked past us, and we remarked how what was he trying to prove by biking in this heat. We talked some more about our garden back at our home. She asked how I was doing with my return to work and attentively listened to every single detail of my mundane work project. She wanted to know all about it and hear what I'd been up to. I realized that we hadn't really had these kinds of talks since I left on D-Day. I couldn't deny to myself that I missed it. We even talked about neighbors. She said one of our neighbors annoyingly decided to set off fireworks late at night all weekend. It felt like us just spending time together again, and I remembered how much I used to enjoy it. I still feel conflicted about it now, as I still feel everything that the affair has unleashed on us. And then the convo grew to our current situation. How things have changed. She had said how much better the weather had been just a few weeks ago, and I said that everything was better just a few weeks ago. It got quiet again between us. I ended up asking how her employment search was going, and she opened up about that. She's been having trouble finding new work and hasn't heard back from any particular job yet. She said that the jobs in her field were narrow and that she was still looking into customer service work. There's this new local restaurant that's preparing to open up, and they're hiring for servers and hostess. She said she's considering applying there. I asked if she was still okay financially in the meantime, and she said that she should be for right now. My WW was always good at saving money even when she didn't have to, so I don't really doubt that. But despite what's going on, she's still my wife, and my love for her doesn't just go away. I wanted to make sure she's okay in that area. She eventually asked something that I could tell was troubling her. She asked how mom was doing. She didn't say it as, "How's your mom doing?" She said, "How's mom doing?" I spoke a little about her / I didn't try to guilt my WW with how my mom had been feeling, but I couldn't just put on a poker face and lie about it either. I knew she would have seen through it, so I gave a summed up version. She had this dejected look on her face, and she just looked down to the ground. I brought up my mom's dog, whom my WW always loved, and I showed her some pics I took of him. Just like talking about my mom, the dog pics had an effect on her, and we talked about him for a little bit, and how I'd been walking him through the neighborhood lately. Toward the end of it, she started tearing up, like she was fighting back tears. Something happened that stunned me. I instinctively put my arm around her shoulder. I think that simple gesture shook her too. She wasn't expecting it. I had to hold back my own tears as I thought about how messed up everything's become. For a minute, I thought I would have cut the meeting short. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to continue on, but I just tried to focus on my breathing. She apologized. I told her that she didn't need to apologize about this part, but she looked at me and just said, "Don't I?" and said that this was all on her. After that, we stood there quietly while she gathered herself. It was getting hotter outside, so we walked back to the parking lot. I walked her to her car. Before she got in, she thanked me for meeting up with her and how much she'd missed us being together like this. She then asked if we could meet up again, and I only said that maybe we could talk about it another time. She nodded and got in her car. I told her to drive safe and watched her drive off, and then I went on my own way. When I returned home, my mom asked how things had gone and how was I holding up. She only listened and gave me some words of comfort. She was distant from me meeting my WW, and only asked if I thought I could handle it. All in all, the meetup was bittersweet. A part of me cherished it and didn't want it to end, but I felt all the pain accompanying it. It's strange. I felt rejuvenated in a sense after spending that time with my WW, but I'm also emotionally exhausted. I've been seriously considering if we should meet up again. I haven't made any plans on that yet. For right now, I'm going to send AP's email to OBS. Thank to everyone who voiced their opinion on that, because I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. I feel like it's something she needs to know, and it could help her out with her case. Update on me and my WVPT1. I met up with my WW again back on the 4th. We've never done anything major on the 4th, mainly cookout at times with my mom and SIL. Those usual plans were not in the cards this year, and my WW wouldn't be with her sister who still had to go to work. So I thought maybe my WW and I could go see the fireworks. Admittedly, I went back and forth on the idea, but decided to follow through on it. I texted her if she would want to do so, and apologized for it being last minute. I received an almost automatic read notification. She said the timing wasn't a problem, and that she would love to, and that she'd get ready. I told her to take her time. When I sent the text, there was still about 3 hours until the fireworks started. We met up downtown around an hour later with the Starbucks being the meetup spot, and then headed for the area of the show. During our walk, I noticed that her hand twitched toward me a few times. I think out of instinct she wanted to hold my hand. This gesture didn't happen when we were at the park, but I assumed that's because we had the shaved ice, so our hands were preoccupied. We could be walking out into the backyard, and we'd come out holding hands. Before D-Day, whenever we walked, we held hands. I think she wanted to, but wanted to respect my space, or just wasn't sure if I'd be receptive. I don't know how my reception would have been either, and I hate that I don't. The affair has done a number in so many ways that I'm still coming to terms with. We just talked as friends would, albeit there was an awkwardness because of the reality of our current situation. It's not the same as it once was, and the truth is, it's not going to be. That realization is still hard for me. There wasn't much talking during the fireworks. We just watched them in each other's company. We actually left a little early because there was a group getting persistently obnoxious. Afterward, me and my WW walked through downtown for a little bit, heading in the direction of our cars, but not so much in a hurry. Our conversation from before the fireworks picked back up. Honestly, it felt nice and such a relief to just have her with me like that. Despite everything that I'm feeling, I've missed her so much, and it was a relief to know that at least she wasn't back at her home alone, that I could see her with my own eyes. But it was also laced with pain and sadness. I asked if she would like to go grab a bite to eat, and she was up for it. We went to that local restaurant I mentioned in a post before that has the meal I bought for my WW, when my SIL informed me that she wasn't eating. She told me that she applied for the hostess position at another restaurant that's opening up in August. She's been down about the whole job search because it hasn't been turning out so well. The jobs in her chosen field haven't been reaching out. There could be a lot of reasons why she hasn't received a response yet, but she worries if she was actually good at her job or if it was just AP pushing her along. During our convo, she received a text which she showed me without me having to ask. It was from her sister. After we arrived back to where our cars were, we still lingered a bit as we talked, and then when we were parting, she thanked me for the night, and I thanked her for joining me. She said that she feels like she doesn't deserve these moments, but at the same time she misses me. She feels selfish for it, and doesn't know how to deal with the two conflicting feelings. I told her that I understood what she meant. She asked if she could see me again, and I told her that maybe we could set something up for the end of the week or the following week. She agreed. As I was leaving, I couldn't shake this horrible feeling, knowing she was going back to being on her own. After the 4th, my marriage, the new normal, reconciliation, divorce, etc., everything has been weighing on me. I've been overthinking and second-guessing. I hate feeling so unsure of my decisions regarding my marriage. It wasn't this way before D-Day. I've talked about this in IC, and I know the next path forward, whether it's R or divorce, depends on me. It was a particularly rough time since the fireworks. I'm going to touch on this in a follow-up post. Update on me and my WW number 2. The Friday after the 4th started off on a better note. I felt less heightened and awoke to my mom's dog at my bedside. The dog has been a good comfort, even from just taking him out on walks. It's strange. Just a few months before D-Day, my WW and I were discussing getting a dog of our own. I was set on trying to take the day slow. Work was going relatively okay. My lunch break came, and I went to get a little snack when out of nowhere this trigger hits me. And it's like I was pulled apart like cotton candy. I was literally hunched over the kitchen counter trying to catch my breath. I believe I was having a panic attack. Of course, this alerts my mom's dog. I want to say this episode lasted for a good 5 to 10 minutes. It was one of the worst triggers I've had, if it's even possible to rank them. My mom was out on a grocery run, and with the way I was feeling, I didn't want to be alone, so I called my WW. My breathing was still hitching when I did. She answered on the second ring, and I think she could immediately hear the distress in my voice because she responded with urgency, right away, asking me what was wrong. When I didn't respond right back, she tried to switch to a FaceTime video call. I don't know what she saw in my face, but it looked like it shook her. I asked if she could just stay on for a bit. She nodded. It took me about another couple of minutes to settle down. My WW asked again what was wrong. I knew I finally had to tell her. I didn't see any way around it with what she had just seen, and I didn't see the point in keeping the mind movies, etc., hidden from her. I told her that it's been happening for a while now, that I've been getting mind movies of her and AP in the hotel room, and there's been certain things that are now triggers for me. She never said a word, and just took in everything I said. I told her that this one in particular was strong. Before I knew it, I just broke down crying as I tried to explain. I managed to tell her that sometimes it feels like I'm having trouble just breathing, how I only get a few hours of sleep now, and even that's not peaceful, and that I feel like a shell. I said I couldn't bear to tell her any of this before because I feel like I've lost her and I didn't know how to approach her with broken trust, that I feel like I'm grieving the loss of her as well. For me, it's like I lost the woman I love, my best friend, and family. She starts crying, and she said she was so sorry she's done this to me. We just cried together for a little bit. After we both settled down, she said that she'd been speaking with her therapist about feeling the same losses and hole that I described, but she feels it's different in the sense that she's the one who imploded our relationship and family. She wants to fight for our relationship and doesn't want to be without me, but also wants to respect my space. She said our meetups have meant everything to her, and yet she fears them as well. She's afraid that one of our meetups or texts/calls is going to be the one where I say that it's officially over. She said she won't try to fight it when it happens because she deserves it. Hearing that wrecked me. I told her that I haven't tossed away our relationship, that me not being home doesn't mean that I have. I told her I appreciated her efforts and for taking IC seriously. I asked if she was having any forms of mind movies or triggers too. She said she has random flashes of that night with AP and has triggers so far in terms of certain words he would say to her. I could only say that we're a messed up pair these days. And she said only repeated that she's the one who did this to us, OBS and her kids, and Mom. I refuted and said this doesn't all fall back on her, that AP did more of his fair share in terms of what he did to his own family. But she kept insisting that she's the one who let him into our lives in the first place. She asked what could she do to support me through the mind movies and triggers. I told her that I wasn't sure. But after some silence, I asked if she would be open to talking with each other about what we were each experiencing, like us being there for each other as friends, which was the foundation of our relationship. We can talk about it in IC and talk about it with each other. She said that she wants to help me in any way she can, but she doesn't know if it's possible or even fair for me to be trying to support her through the consequences of the affair. I knew she had her IC session coming up, so I started in the call. But before that, I brought my mom's dog on, and it impacted my WW. She was waving and calling out to him, and he of course recognized her and was staring at the screen and wagging his tail. We shared that moment for a bit. Before hanging up, she thanked me for confiding in her about what I was experiencing, and I thanked her for being there and opening up about what she was going through. She said that I could call her anytime I wanted, and she would do her best to help me combat the movies. To be honest, I cried some more right after the call. I tried to resume work, but I was sluggish. When my mom came home, I went to help her out with the bags, and I couldn't even fake it. I think she knew what happened while she was away in terms of an episode coming on. She gave me some words of comfort. It was conflicting, and it still feels that way. On one hand, it did feel nice opening up to my WW again, but it almost felt wrong in a sense, like a part of me was shouting, "Why are you doing this? You need to run and protect yourself." I find the two sides impossible to reconcile. One of the big betrayal hurdles for me is that she had these deep, intimate talks on her part with AP. It feels so much like another violation. It was something we shared and owed to each other that she gave to AP even before the work trip. If I were going to be open with her about what I've been experiencing, then I need for her to be with me as well. I need it to be a mutual thing and not her holding back. I've struggled to figure out how to give her that push. It's new territory for me. Before D-Day, we just had that open line of communication. A part of me feels, how do I know just how much to push and how to know when to pull back? Give her some time. When the EA started, she said that she didn't want to throw her problems on me because I was going through some things. She felt like she was going to throw extra worries. Well, with that in mind, isn't it no better now if she continues to keep these things from me? Isn't that how we kind of got into this position? One thing I'm certain about is that I feel like it's time for me to start being more proactive again in regards to this situation. Having the necessary conversations with my WW. And there are still questions I would like answers for. I don't know if I'm going about this the right way, if there's even a right way to deal with things like this, but I feel like I need to